What's up, gamers? So this is a YouTube video, which means you are currently on youtube.com, which means you're already familiar with what Team Seas is. But just in case you're one of like the 3 people who don't know, it's a project created by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober, who are like the eldritch deities of YouTube, where their goal is to remove 30 million pounds of trash from the ocean. This is a great goal and a meaningful cause, and because I have more than 17 subscribers on YouTube, I am contractually obligated to make a video producing some kind of content about Team Seas, otherwise the YouTube algorithm will send like assassins to my house or whatever. So I made a game. Now I saw Mark Rober's really awesome video about the trash-eating robot, so I decided I would make a game where you play as a trash-eating robot. The first thing we need is the robot. Hell yeah. Check out this square. We got it moving around. But moving around as a square is very boring. So boom, add some more rectangles. Now these blue rectangles are rivers, and the gray rectangles is trash. And I figured the most reasonable way to make this game is to have the trash flow in from rivers, and you have to eat it before it makes it all the way out into the ocean. And any trash that like goes off screen that you don't get a chance to stop is lost to the ocean. Now we need the robot to eat the trash. All right, we got like a little suction effect that can pull the trash towards the robot while you're playing the game, and it feels really good. So now we can eat up the trash, but there's nothing really to do. We need to figure out a goal for this game. So I decided to give a call to my good buddy, Mr. Beast. Hi.
Who is this?
This is Kenneth from the Inbound Shovel YouTube channel. I'm working on the Team Seas video game.
How'd you get this number?
How'd you get this number? A scoring system! Mr. Beast, you're a genius. Now, Mr. Beast gave me a great piece of advice there. He wants me to add some sort of scoring system where the game is segmented into days, and you get a grade assigned to you based on how well you did that day, and then the game tells you how you got that number. Really, really good piece of advice. Thanks a lot, Mr. Beast. I'll talk to you again soon, buddy. So I set up the basic gameplay flow. You play daily. At the end of each day, the game tells you how well you did, it gives you your score, and then you earn money based on that score that you can use to upgrade your robot for the next day. This gives you a goal to work towards where you have a perfect day and no trash makes it into the ocean. And I decided that would make the most sense as an ending point for the game. So it's coming together really well. We got the main gameplay loop, but there's one major problem, and that's that it's incredibly ugly. It's just a bunch of squares. So it's time for pixel art. Boom, we got a robot. Let's slap that in the game. Now, an issue. I drew the robot much too small. Now, there's a common problem with pixel art where if the pixels don't match the size of everything else, then you have to redraw it rather than just scale it, because otherwise it won't match and it'll just look kind of wrong when you look. Wait, what are you doing? Wait, you're not. No, you're not. Stop. I swear, do not resize that robot. I can't believe you've done this. All right, well, anyway, let's draw a basic cliff tile set that we can put in the background for what the rivers will run through. And I got it pulled into Engine, but this one's a little too small too. But that's okay, we can just redraw. No, come on, not again. Not again. All right. Well, whatever. It's time to make the rivers and the ocean. Now, I must tell you, I've never made pixel art based on water before. So this took a lot of attempts before I got something that looked good. And I basically just looked at a whole bunch of guides to get the effect that I wanted. But I ended up with this really nice looking waterfall effect, slapped that in for everywhere I want the rivers to be, and I think it really looks like the water's flowing into the ocean. The ocean is just a blue color with a little wavy effect in it that slowly moves downwards. I tried to mess with a few different particle effects that could look like it was waves going down in the ocean, but none of that looked good at all. So I ended up with this, which I think looks pretty good for the robot and the rivers and the cliffs and all that good stuff. But you might notice the trash is still just little gray rectangles. So for the trash, I decided to do pretty basic trash. Like you got paper and wrappers all crumpled up. You got empty plastic bags. You got a few different colors of bottles. And then you got face masks, which is the new classic litter, right? And so now we got those in place of the gray rectangles. But the problem is that they're just moving statically. They don't really look like they're floating in the water. So to do that, I decided to work with a shader. So I started doing a lot of research and looking into the best ways I could to make a really nice shader to make it look like something was underwater. And then instead, I copied and pasted something someone else did. However, their shader was to make it look like the entire sprite was underwater. But I only wanted it to look like part of the sprite was underwater. So I just had to make a couple adjustments to the shader myself. I figured it wouldn't be too hard to get it to look like it was underwater. I was wrong. All right, that's clearly not correct. I don't know why it's doing that. This isn't even close. Really don't know what happened to this one. Nope, not it. Now, eventually I got the shader to work, and I ended up with what I think is a pretty convincing effect. I then applied the shader to like the wheels and part of the net of the robot as well to make it look like it was floating through the water instead of just sitting on top, and I think overall the effect came through really well. And then I needed to add the UI. I could talk about this UI for a long time because it was a pain in the ass to get it working correctly. But instead, I'll spare you the headache and just show you what it looks like. I added this really nice effect at the end of the day where it empties all the trash that you recycled into this little bin so that you can really feel how well you did. And then it gives you your grade based on how much you recycled and how much you missed. And then it gives you money in donations based on how well you did. And then you get to go to the upgrade shop. I added in a handful of different upgrades, gave them some flavor text and descriptions of how they work, and tried to balance it out so that you can tune it to play the way you like. But after sprucing up the UI, I added a main menu and a little tutorial, and then I needed to add some music and sound effects. For music, I Googled good game music and found a really great track. I'll link all the appropriate accreditation. I'll link a crab in the description. And then I had to find sound effects for everything. Now, I always struggle to find good sound effects, and I have no idea to find which sound effect packs are like good to buy. So I end up with a bunch of free sounds and then a bunch of stuff I made myself. Like the robot suction sound is me going. And then it was time for some homemade sound effects. Oh yeah. Sure. In retrospect, I don't think that one's gonna work. Oops. I also found some ambient sounds to play in the background and a GUI sound effects pack that I applied to my UI, and then it felt like a pretty complete game, and I sent it to a friend of mine for playtesting, and he sent me back this video. Oh, and I wasn't going to stand for that. If he wants a hard mode, I'm going to give him the hardest mode. Phrasing. So I booted up Godot, got in my chair, and played a bunch of Animal Crossing instead of working on the game at all. I got Ribbot on my island. So the game doesn't have a hard mode. Maybe I'll add one after filming. Who knows? But anyway, that was my Team C's project. I'll link the game in the description if you want to play it. I think it's a really fun little experience, and I'm really happy to be a part of a meaningful project. If even one person donates to Team C's because of that game I made, then I'll consider that a huge success, because getting trash out of the ocean is a pretty big deal. And oh, subscribe to my channel. Oh, I caught you. I caught you before you exited out or went to your next recommended video. So do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, like this video as well, or even dislike it. No one's gonna know. It'll be our little secret. All right. See ya.